Hey everybody, it's GommonX, and welcome to another Omniscience Draft of Core Set 2020. They have returned the format to Arena for this weekend. I believe it's on till like Sunday night or something. All they said was that Omniscience Draft is coming back, so I didn't even know that it was still going to be Core Set 2020. I was kind of hoping it would be Ikoria, so we could try out all the new Mutate cards for free, see if there's any new combos and stuff for that. But since it's still Omniscience Draft, at least I will have the experience of that old meta and know what I'm doing going in. This format is a special format in which all of the spells that you cast cost 0 mana to cast from your hand, and you have the ability to add 1 of each mana during each turn for activated abilities and stuff. You don't get activated abilities for free. So with that all out of the way, let's hop into the draft. Usually the best cards to take in this format are going to be cards that allow you to draw multiple cards. If a card draws 1 card, it's still probably fine, because you cast it for free, you get another chance to draw into something crazy, but you really want to try to outvalue your opponent with cards that just draw like 4 cards and go off with one explosive turn, where you draw a million cards, play a million cards on board. You can even just win on turn 1 that way. So our opening pack is not very good for Omniscience Draft. We have Bladebrand, where we can draw a card by targeting creature, giving it death touch till end of turn. That might be the pick, to be honest, just because it's the only card in here that really draws a card. Yarok's Wavecrasher tends to be decent, though, because if you get any creature that draws a card when it enters the battlefield, this will allow you to recast that and do it again. So if you manage to get a Risen Reef, which is like the craziest thing you could get, then Wavecrasher can really, really work in your favor. So I think Wavecrasher and Bladebrand are in general the best cards for Omniscience Draft in this pack. It's going to be a bit of a split decision, but I'm going to go with the Wavecrasher, and we'll see if we get anything to go with it. Another card that's really good in this format that you could get to recast with Wavecrasher is, I forget the name of it, as always, but it's like a 7 mana 2/2, but when it comes into play, you return any 2 instants or sorceries from your graveyard to your hand, which is insanely good in this format, because if you get unsummon, you can repeatedly unsummon it and recast whatever the other thing is to just win out of nowhere. Or if you just return 2 instant or sorcery draw spells to your hand, even that is pretty great. So Yarok's Wavecrasher definitely has a lot of good things it works with, and Octoprophet is one of them. This doesn't quite draw you a card when you play it, but even just scrying 2 when you come to play is pretty nice. Herald of the Sun is a nice threat. We can play it out there. We can use its ability once per turn. This is like at worst a 5/5 flyer, and then every other turn it just keeps getting bigger. And I don't think anything else in here really draws a card. Battalion Foot Soldier, you could potentially get a stack of those. A little bit risky. If you only get like 2 of these, they're really not good in this format, but if you can somehow get a stack of 5, then that's just the second you draw one, you have 5 2/2s out, because all of them are free. So pretty big pack here. There's also removal, and removal is important in this format since everyone is casting gigantic creatures for free. If someone drops a Herald of the Sun down and you don't have a way to draw a bunch of cards and establish a board anywhere near as good as theirs, you're going to need something to at least deal with that. So, several viable picks here. Herald of the Sun if we want our own big threat. Octoprophet if we want to scry a couple cards. Sleep Paralysis if we want to stop our opponent's massive threats. And Battalion Foot Soldier if we want to take the kind of risky play that could pay off heavily. It has been a long time since I have done Omniscience Draft, so I'm not super confident with my picks here. I think the last time they even put Omniscience Draft on was like last year. I think it's been at least like 6 months. At least since I've played. I'm just going to go with Octoprophet. I'm going to go as like combo-y as possible this first time, see how that works out for me. Or I'll try to go as combo-y as possible. It's not really working out. There's like no draw spells here. There's another Foot Soldier. If we can wheel the other Foot Soldier, that would be a good pick. Excuse me. Soul Salvage is okay. It does sort of draw 2 cards, but it doesn't do that until the late game. It's also Rule of Law. You can use that to make sure your opponent doesn't do anything degenerate. So Soul Salvage, Rule of Law, or Battalion, Foot Soldier. I'm going to take the Foot Soldier. We did already see one. Hopefully it'll wheel. We might be able to do that. Bone to Ash is very good in this format, but so is Portal of Sanctuary. Portal of Sanctuary is a really, really, really good card if you get Angelic Gift. Angelic Gift is a 2-mana enchantment. It gives enchanted creature flying, and when it comes into play, you draw a card. So if you get a bunch of Angelic Gifts, you could throw them all onto one creature, draw a card every time you do that, and now with Portal of Sanctuary, once per turn, you can return that creature back to your hand along with all of the enchantments you put on it, recast them all, and draw that many cards again. So Portal of Sanctuary is actually really good in this format as well. Also with Enter the Battlefield effects like Octoprophet, it's fine, but Bone to Ash is insane in this format too, because you're countering whatever your opponent's big threat that might even chain into something crazy is. Like if they just drop a Foot Soldier and you counter it and draw a card, that's a really big swing in your favor. So this pack is really good for Omniscience Draft. Portal of Sanctuary and Bone to Ash are both really big picks. And Befuddle's always a fine pickup, as well as Hardcover is actually not that bad. It lets you sift through any of your mediocre cards, which you often end up with mediocre cards. In a draft, you end up with 45 cards, and since you're not playing any non-land cards in this, you can only really cut like 3, and then end up with a 40-card deck. So you do end up with mediocre cards in your deck, no matter how well you draft. I'm going to take the Portal of Sanctuary. Definitely looking... Yeah, Angelic Gifts are at an absolute premium with that pick. Unsummon is a pretty good pick as well. If you take an Unsummon, then you guarantee that if you ever get the card that returns 2 cards from your grave to your hand, you have that infinite combo at the ready. And it can also just redo any other Enter the Battlefield effect that you want. So it's definitely a good pick to think about. But Angelic Gift, when I already have a Portal of Sanctuary, Angelic Gift is almost the number 1 pick I could possibly do, just because it combos so well together. And there's another Angelic Gift that is 100% the pick. And now we have to make some choices. We've got Anvilrot Raptors, pretty mediocre. A bunch of pretty mediocre stuff in general. We could take Ripscale Predator to have a threat, just a 6/5 menace. Or we can take Sage's Row Denizen if we're trying to do one of the combos where we just loop creatures indefinitely, like unsummoning something that returns an instant or sorcery from our grave to our hand infinitely. Sage's Row Denizen could mill our opponent to death if we get a combo like that out, but I feel like we can get Sage's Row Denizens very late in these packs regardless. Ripscale Predator is just going to be a fine threat. If we don't end up comboing off to kill somebody, just plop down a big ol' 6/5 menace, try to win that way. Vorse Claw is another really good threat to have, just because it's one of the really big creatures you could use to try to kill your opponent, as well as being an elemental, which is very relevant in this format because Risen Reef is... It's got to be in like the top 3 most important cards to ever pick. Like if you see it, there's very few cards you take over it. Maybe you take the card that returns 2 instants or sorceries over Risen Reef, but other than that, I don't think there's much of anything. So you're actually pretty likely to have a Risen Reef in your deck, because if you ever see one, just slap it into your deck. So Vorse Claw does combo with Risen Reef just by being an elemental, as well as being a big old threat. Befuddle, though, is a spell that draws a card. So if you are trying to draw into a specific combo, like Portal of Sanctuary plus Angelic Gifts or something, any kind of cantrips really help you get there, and Vorse Claws are something we can get really late in the pack. So even though Vorse Claw is good for that other reason, I'm going to take Befuddle here. And I will take Bladebrand. It's the only card in this pack that draws a card, and all of these creatures are pretty mediocre in terms of power level. When all creatures are free, those creatures are pretty small. So we can take Thicket Crasher if we're like convinced that we'll get a Risen Reef, or we can just take a Ripscale Predator as another threat. I'm just going to take the Ripscale Predator. I'm not the luckiest person in the world, so it's entirely possible we just never see a Risen Reef. Now we can take a Soul Salvage. Again, I can take a Rule of Law. You can always just, like, do as many draw spells as you can turn 1, play as many creatures as you can, and then drop Rule of Law to try to shut your opponent down. But that requires drawing Rule of Law at the right time, so it's a bit of a coin flip of a card. Because what happens when your opponent does that crazy chain off and then it goes to your turn, and all you've got is like a creature and a cantrip, you play a creature, then you cantrip into a Rule of Law, and then you've just does nothing, and you just die. I will take Befuddle. And now, with a pack this small, I can definitely just take Sage's Row Denizen in case I get an infinite creature combo. Disenchant. It was actually somewhat main deckable in this format because there are really powerful artifacts and enchantments that a lot of decks will run, like Portal of Sanctuary, so Disenchant might not necessarily be one of our 3 cards that we cut out of our deck. And here we have Anticipate, which is one of the better draw spells, because we get to pick any card out of our top 3 to put into our hand, so if we end up with something insane, we can get much closer to it by trying to find it in the top 3. And if we don't, we've at least gone 3 cards through, rather than just one of these cantrips that's like, well, we get the top card and that's it. So, Anticipate I shall take. Now, there's nothing really good in this format. We can take Negate or Ironroot Warlord. Ironroot Warlord does make a 1/1 every single turn. Our turn and our opponent's turn, we get to use that emblem. So this is good at making a lot of chump blockers in the long run. I think I will take Ironroot Warlord just for that reason. Season of Growth, that is a really, really good card, and it's a high pick for us here because we have cards that combo well with it. With the Season of Growth, whenever we Angelic Gift one of our creatures, we draw 2 cards. Whenever we Blade Brand one of our creatures, we draw 2 cards. Whenever we Befuddle one of our creatures, we draw 2 cards. Just lots of good stuff that combos with this. Plus, whenever any creature enters the battlefield under our control, we scry one. So even our creature tokens we're getting from Ironroot Warlord, we're scrying on. So Season of Growth is a very huge pickup. Bone to Ash is probably the second best card there. There's also a Battalion Foot Soldier, and we do have one of those. What have we here? Anything that targets a creature we control? No. Anything that draws a card? No. So, we're probably just taking another Yarok's Wavecrasher. Just slamming it in there. Pattern Matcher can be good if you have multiples of something in your deck. So, say we have a Yarok's Wavecrasher out. If we cast Pattern Matcher, we can grab another Yarok's Wavecrasher. And I think that's really the only card in here that draws a card. It's also kind of the biggest creature here. The biggest creature is Frilled Sea Serpent, which is a 4/6, but we can't use its secondary ability. So this is just a 4/6. It doesn't actually do anything else. So Pattern Matcher is like kind of on par with like this 3/2 guy. So second biggest creature that also just has a good ability for when it enters the battlefield. This is an easy Angelic Gift. It combos with Season of Growth, and it combos with Portal of Sanctuary to draw us many cards. Another Portal of Sanctuary, easy pickup. We now have 3 Angelic Gifts to try to loop and draw more cards per turn than you could ever ask for. Now, I don't see any draw spells here. We can take a Negate. Negate, again, another one of those cards that is situational, but it can be good. If you can counter your opponent's Season of Growth, if you can counter their Portal of Sanctuary, if you can counter their Drawn into Dreams or something, it's really good. And, you know, the rest of these cards don't do much of anything. They're kind of just 3/2 flyer, 1/3 flyer, whatever. Pretty small when you can cast everything for free. Now we can take another Befuddle because it does combo so well with Season of Growth. It would be that or just like another Sage's Row Denizen, which does not seem necessary. And this pack is just straight up not good. I guess we're taking a Negate. Another pack that's not very good in this format. We can take another Soul Salvage for if we hit late game. Or just like a Feral Invocation. It works with Season of Growth at least. but it doesn't even draw a card on its own. It's just an awkward pack in general. Not sure exactly what the best thing here would be. Suppose I'll take Feral Invocation. And yeah, we're on to just bad cards now. We'll take a 5/4. That also is an elemental, which matters if we can find a Risen Wreath. Ooh, Ripscale Predator, second to last pick, is good for us. And Maniacal Rage isn't the worst thing ever. It can shut down an opposing blocker, or we can use it to target one of our cards and draw a card with a Season of Growth. Glint Horn Buccaneer. 3 mana, 2/4 haste. Whenever you discard a card, it deals 1 damage to each opponent, and you can pay 2 mana to discard a card and draw a card if it's attacking. So it does allow us to discard 1 card and draw 1 card, which is pretty good, but I just feel like Meteor Golem is really good in this format. You play it for free. We have 2 Yarok's Wavecrasher already that would bring it back to our hand to play it again. We have 2 Portal of Sanctuary that can let us put it back into our hand once per turn and play it again. We have several ways to just loop this and play it over and over, which seems ridiculous. Just try and clear out all of our opponent's threats that way. And I guess it is a Blade Brand here, hoping to wheel like a Silverback Shaman, I guess. Dragon Mage does have potential. I should have mentioned that. Dragon Mage, if you hit a player with Dragon Mage, everyone discards their hand and then draws 7 cards, which is pretty insane. A little coin flippy. Somebody's definitely going to win after both of you draw 7. The problem is it could very well be your opponent if they draw a couple negates. I don't think I'll have enough creatures to sacrifice to really use this, so it's probably just another Befuddle to draw more cards. And now, if you get enough Fairy Miscreants, you can draw cards out of them. Plus, I do have Pattern Matcher if I get multiple Fairy Miscreants. But I feel like at this point, I don't have a whole lot of creatures. Probably just want to grab more big old chonkers. I don't know. I am very unsure about most things. I will just take a Fairy Miscreant. I'll go for it. We'll see if we get more. Definitely anticipate here. Manifold Key is worth considering. We could Manifold Key and untap our Portal of Sanctuaries, but we'd have to have a Portal of Sanctuary for that key to do a lot. It can also give a creature unblockable, which if the game board stalls, that could be big. I don't know. Manifold Key is definitely interesting, but Anticipate's just so good in this format. And now we don't have a lot going for us. I suppose Wolfkin Bond will trigger a Season of Growth. Salvager of Ruin, let us recast something, or just like a Befuddle. Just take a Befuddle. And there's a second Fairy Miscreant, so that with Pattern Matcher is pretty nice. We can just take this Dragon Mage now. I guess it wheeled to us. Again, it's a pretty risky play, but if we haven't like drawn our negates yet that game, I think at hitting them there's almost no downside, because if we draw like 1 negate, we're very likely to just be able to control whatever our opponent does out of it. Uncaged Fury could kill an opponent out of nowhere, or there's another Ripscale Creditor. I'm gonna take Uncaged Fury. Very, very high potential. And I guess Destructive Digger is the best creature there, even if we're very unlikely to sacrifice our artifact to draw a card with it. And Mind Rot is not bad in this format. If you are on the play, you could Mind Rot your opponent before they get to do anything, which is very, very rude. So now we get to cut 5 cards out of this deck. So first of all, if there's any lands, yeah, we'll cut that. That's a swamp. Now we want to cut cards that don't give us really any value at all. It's probably Feral Invocation, because we already have Wolfkin Bond. That's just a bigger, better Feral Invocation. Battalion Foot Soldier is literally just a 2/2. We didn't end up with more copies of it. Maniacal Rage is just a +2/+2, no draw off of it. Disenchant, maybe still worth running. Depends. I'm just going to cut it for now, and we'll see what we're up against a lot. but I suppose this will be the deck. These Omniscience Draft decks do look really weird, but the general deck idea is all of your cards that aren't just a big old Ripscale Predator or something tend to, say, like, draw a card. So basically whatever your hand is, you get to draw enough cards to drop 1 or 2 Ripscale Predators and try to just shred your opponent faster than they shred you. So that is our game plan. That is our deck. Let's see how it goes. I hope this does not count towards my limited record, because I'm trying to climb that ladder. And that would suck if I just 0-3'd an Omniscience Draft and got all the way back down to Platinum Tier 4. I think I am just Platinum Tier 4 right now anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, it looks like it doesn't affect your ranked limited ranking or whatever, so that's good. This hand's very good. We have a threat, an answer, and card draw. The 3 kinds of things that you want, we have all 3 of them in our 3 cards. Leyline of Combustion. Whenever we target them or a permanent they control with a spell or ability, they deal 2 damage to us. And they don't play anything, so we're going to try to cast Anticipate. They might just negate it. Since they haven't played anything, it might be a hand of counterspells. The amount of time they're waiting here means they've got something instant speed. We can grab another Anticipate, or we can grab a Fire Elemental or a Fairy Miscreant. I think we grab another Anticipate. We do it again. Try to get something bigger and better. They might be holding up like a Bone to Ash as one of those 2 cards, in which case this negate will be awesome. So Dragon Mage is a little awkward because I don't actually want my opponent to draw a bunch of cards. So maybe I just take Blade Brand, just draw another card here. Because I feel like their hand might just be a couple of counterspells. If it is, we can try and just bash him. Yeah, I'll take this Blade Brand, I don't know. Now we have double negate? Yeah, we're good. I'm pretty sure we're good. Wow, not even. Huh. I have no idea what's going on in their hand. I'm just gonna Blade Band right now. If I draw a Pattern Matcher, that'll be really good. And if I draw any more aggressive creatures, I'm gonna just put them out as soon as possible. Meteor Golem? Okay, I'm not gonna put Meteor Golem out as soon as possible. I'll save that in hand. And now my hand just looks insane in this format. I can deal with almost anything they could do here. The fact that they didn't negate last turn makes me think that's their top deck. In which case I'll negate it. Okay, I'll negate Veil of Summer as well. And then they should have just nothing, judging by what they played last turn. Okay, just a removal spell. Well, here's another Predator, and now we're both playing off the top, but I have a removal spell that's a creature. Both in one. So as long as their deck doesn't have like more cantrips than my deck, I should definitely win here. That would be hard to do, because I have a lot of cantrips. Wow, now I can Portal of Sanctuary Meteor Golem combo? That's pretty big. That's pretty massive, actually. So I'm going to return Predator and all of its cards. I'm going to play Predator. I'm going to Meteor Golem their Leyline. Angelic Gift my Meteor Golem, so that now in future turns, I can Portal of Sanctuary, bring back Meteor Golem and Angelic Gift, draw a card, and destroy a permanent. Oh, Pattern Matcher too? Jesus Christ. This is brutal. So that's another Ripscale Predator. Alright. They have a Stone Golem and a Yarok's Wave Crasher. See, we return Meteor Golem, destroy one of their blockers. Attack for 12 menace damage and 3 flying damage. So yeah, they were dead. They were dead on board. Because, yeah, we bounce Meteor Golem, which bounces Meteor Golem and Angelic Gift. Play Meteor Golem, destroy one of their 2 blockers, so they can't block the menace. And then put our flying enchantment on our other 3 power creatures, so that's 15 unblockable damage All right. That game was very dumb, but that is how Omniscience drafts tend to go. They're just really weighted one way or the other. Somebody just combos off Yu-Gi-Oh style, while the other person is like, well, I mean, I drew my 15th and 30th and 45th picks, so they don't draw cards. They're just a 2-2 or a 4-4. Just things that don't really chain together. There's not much you can do to prevent that. Round 2. This is another fine hand. We don't have any creatures that we can match their pattern, but Anticipate might be able to get us into one. Opponent is playing first. Stone Golem it is. Should probably have anticipated before they did anything, just in case I drew a Bone to Ash. Not going to negate their Anticipate, since I don't know what else they have in their hand. They could be saving like a Drawn into Dreams as their last card, so don't need to anticipate before that. I will anticipate before Mind Rot in case I get negate. Huh. Yeah, Mind Rot is hugely awful for me. I get to keep one of these 5 cards in my hand. What do I want my 1-card hand to be? Anvil Rot Raptor? No. Pattern Matcher? Probably no. I think maybe Season of Growth would be the best 1-card hand I could have, and that's not even that good because I need a creature out to get a lot of value out of it. I think I want Season of Growth as the 1-card hand. Pattern Matcher's just the 3/3 by itself. And we can anticipate into Anticipate or Anticipate into Dragon Mage. Stone Golem's a 4/4, Dragon Mage can block that 5/5. I think I'll Anticipate into Dragon Mage, and Season of Growth will let me draw a card when I play this, as well as I have it as a viable blocker if they don't just counter it immediately. They do counter it immediately with a Bone to Ash, which is awful. But not much else you can do when you get turn 1 Mind Rotted in a 3-card format. Octoprophet will scry 3 when I play it, but they've got 2 cards in hand. I have tons and tons of things that target creatures I control, so I'm actually going to put that on the bottom. I have 5 Befuddles, 2 Blade Brands, 3 Angelic Gifts. I feel like I'm really likely to be able to get something that targets a creature I control. Of course, if they kill my 3/2, I mean, that's surprising to me that they'd use a removal on my 3/2, but I guess with Season of Growth out, you want to prevent me from befuddling into 2 cards instead of 1 card here. Oh boy. I don't have anything that draws more than 1 card in this deck unless I can get a creature on my board, so I'm actually just going to save this to prevent the damage and draw a card. Because even if I draw into another Blade Brand or something, I don't need to play it immediately until I have a creature to play it on. They're going to negate my Befuddle. Natural and my Season's Growth. This is going very poorly. Alright. I got a couple of my cards that are in here for Season's Growth. And basically no other reason. After they have naturalized my Season's Growth. Well, I have blockers now. That's something. They have 3 cards in hand, and they did not stop at all during that turn. So just a bunch of sorcery speed removal? It looks like it. I'm gonna go to 4 here. If they Uncaged Fury me or something, that's fine. Fire Elemental. Yarok's Wave Crash. That's a good draw. Get back in here. Wake up, Feral Abomination. Stop it with that sleepy time. Jesus Christ. Alright. More removal. I guess we just try to kill all their creatures. I can't not block something here, so just try to do the massive trade and hope that their cards in hand suck. Soul Salvage. Boy. Well, now I basically have to drop my Soul Salvage. Nope. Alright. Well, we got the opposite of last game. Last game was the Yu-Gi-Oh! Play Crazy Chain combo, destroy our opponent, and that game was the Mind Rot turn 1, you have one card in hand all game. So, I mean, fair enough. Show both sides of the format. I guess not every game ends in a crazy combo by one of the players. One player could just shut the other one down and then play pretty regular stuff. Definitely a keep. I've got an Anticipate. And a big old Ripscale Predator. Jesus H. Christ. Bone to Ash, please. No Bone to Ash? So I probably lose, because Cavalier Flame, discard any number of cards, draw that many cards. They get to use its ability because they have 5 mana to give all their creatures +1/+0 and haste until end of turn. So they could just play 2 creatures and do 20 damage right now. Is that 20? Not quite. Not quite, but that was dumb. Indeed. Okay. Yeah, Cavalier Flame MVP in this set. Really good. Alright, well let's Ripscale Predator. Draw a card. Destructive Digger does not do anything. It is another blocker though, so I'll have 4 blockers against this, but I guess they don't get trample or anything. They can add to their power, but if I'm blocking everything anyway, just trade a bunch of creatures and then I still have 1 creature on board and they don't. This is our game plan now. We have to hope they didn't draw into something. Our game plan is that our opponent draws duds all game. No top decks. Come on. One time. No idea what they drew then. I'm gonna not hit them with Ripscale Predator. Or not hit them with Dragon Mage, because if I do, they'll draw 7 more cards. So we're just gonna save that one to block and hit with Ripscale Predator instead. Save this Befuddle to try to survive this turn, even if they play 2 more creatures. They could just be sandbagging creatures because Cavalier always gives haste to all their creatures. Okay, my turn. Sage's Rodenizen, not the greatest, but it can block. Alright. If I can survive this next turn, and all my creatures can survive this next turn, I can hit them for lethal with flying. Oh shit. It's the S tier #1 pick for Omniscience Draft. Risen Reef is here. That is not quite game, but it's getting close. I do have to trade my Dragon Mage with their Dragon Mage if they attack with everybody. Which sucks. That means I won't be able to crack back for lethal. Probably have to do 8 on the crackback. Actually, wait, no, I can Befuddle their Dragon Mage. Yeah, Befuddle their Dragon Mage, and then my Dragon Mage will survive that. Okay. Yeah, I can win that way then. There, now my Dragon Mage is still around. I still have lethal flying damage. Never mind, that got negated. So I no longer have lethal damage. I can put them to 2. That would have been a nice last turn. So I'm just dead. Alright. They just +1 the whole field, and I take 2. Even if they draw nothing. So, Cavalier Flame and Risen Reef are probably the best 2 cards in this format. Cavalier Flame can give your entire field haste after you drop them all, and you can do 18 damage to your opponent on turn 1. Or 16 is how much they did to me on turn 1. And Risen Reef, obviously, with enough elementals, you just keep playing creatures and drawing cards over and over and over again. Risen Reef didn't do a lot for them that game, which is surprising. But Cavalier Flame just single-handedly destroyed me. Alright, round 4, I believe. 1 win, 2 losses. This is keepable. We can stop our opponent from doing anything insane, and if they get a creature out, we can draw a bunch of cards. Alright, they just play a creature, so they probably have control spells of their own. Nope. Not gonna let you draw a card and stop my creature. I'm gonna Blade Brand right now. I'm just gonna try to draw into something here. So, alright, negate. There we go. I'll stop there and keep a Befuddle as a backup. That I have a negate at the ready. It's a very good card to have. Destructive Digger. Okay. So if we both... No, I don't. I would rather you not draw a card. I'm gonna negate that. Mainly for their card draw over them countering my 3-2. Alright, so I'm very much winning this race. I can trade these 2 creatures. I can just take that 4. I'm just going to Befuddle it right now. It draws a card, worst case scenario. Oh my god, Meteor Golem and Mind Rot. Let's try to just dump their hand. And then we can Meteor Golem their 4-6 with no response. Yeah, that's a Soul Salvage 2. That was a brutal draw. Attack with both, they trade 3-2 and 2-3. And they have to draw... They basically have to draw something that's like draw 2 cards or they're screwed. Alright, yep. I was gonna say, if they just draw a creature, it's over. So it's 2-2. Another really fast game, as the games in this format tend to go. And we've got the black screen. There we go. What did we win? Got a Senate Guild Mage. I can almost guarantee I have a full playset just from drafting Ravnica Allegiance. It's kind of weird that it always shows you the gems if you get your 5th copy of a rare, but if you get a 5th copy of an uncommon, it never like shows you like, ooh, vault progress. It's just like, here you go. Here's another Senate Guild Mage. It's like, I'm pretty sure I have 30 of those. Be nice to get some kind of indicator so you can know for sure when you're getting a 5th copy of an uncommon or common. Another decent hand, we've got a negate. We've also got to anticipate. Try to set up some plays. Is this my turn? Yeah, this is my turn. So I'll anticipate then. Try to get like a creature. Yeah, Ripscale Predator. Dump out a Ripscale Predator or Dragon Mage. I would rather play Ripscale Predator, to be honest. My issue with Dragon Mage is I just don't like giving my opponent a full grip of 7 cards too. So I usually prefer to just use Dragon Mage for the final 5 damage to an opponent. Audacious Thief is good. Draws them at least 1 card, and Blade Brand's really easy to get in this format, so with Blade Brands as well. Ooh, Air Elemental. Also very good. And a Goblin Smuggler to go with Audacious Thief. Well, that's very bad for me. They've assembled the combo. They get to draw an extra card every turn with Smuggler plus Audacious Thief. See if I can get some kind of combo going of my own. Well... Ripscale Predator can't really block anything, because they can just give Audacious Thief unblockable. So, we attack with Ripscale Predator, because the only thing it's holding back is 2 damage from Goblin Smuggler. See if they do anything. They don't do anything. They're just going to take 6. I was really hoping for some kind of weird block. But that's fine. Kind of want to use these as cantrips to draw something into crazy. This whole Portal of Sanctuary, Angelic Gift, Manifold Key, Meteor Golem is hilarious. You played the Golem 6 times in 2 turns, easy win. Yeah, I've got the same thing. I've got Meteor Golem and Portal of Sanctuary in here. I am going to go ahead and just try to, during my turn, draw into one of my combo pieces. Wave Crusher's not really. It's just a dude. But that's actually fine, because now I get to untap my Predator, I guess. Alright, the fact that it held right there makes me real suspicious, but I can't choose not to return this, so if they have Bone to Ash, they got it. Alright. They didn't have Bone to Ash. Oh, I guess it's holding for Goblin Smuggler. I should probably just have dumped this Blade Brand down too and tried to draw another creature, because I guess Blade Brand isn't really doing anything here either. Our creatures aren't really ever going to touch each other. We are taking 6 and they're drawing a card. They are down to 13 now though, and all their creatures currently are tapped. So that's pretty big. I mean, we can swing back for 10, put them to 3 if they didn't draw another creature. If they're just sitting on a bunch of negates. It's unlikely, but it's possible. They did get a Boreal Elemental, but they probably don't want to block with that, because it will die. So we're probably doing 10 to them, and then they crack back for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's not quite lethal. Alright. Another Ripscale Predator. Man, if I had Blade Branded, I would have had another Ripscale Predator out, which would make this crack lethal, so they would have had to not attack with one of those things. Yeah, that definitely didn't work out, not playing the Blade Brand last turn. Fairy Miscreant. Alright, that's kind of whatever. We will drop both just as blockers, and hopefully with 2 6/5 Menacers, we can finish off that last little bit of damage to kill our opponent, because they're going to 3 here if they don't block. And they'll go to 2 if they attack with Audacious Thief again. They do block. Take 6, go to 7. So 1 single Ripscale Predator is not enough to kill them. Bone Dash? No thank you. I would like this to resolve. And we also play a Fairy Miscreant. Let's see how they attack. Battalion Foot Soldier. Alright, well there's blockers for Ripscale Predator right there. Oh, they only had 1. Alright, I only ended up with 1 as well. That's the problem with Battalion Foot Soldier. It's like so easy to just be a trap. Especially in Omniscience Draft. Oh, they're actually going to attack and go down to 6? It's definitely risky because both my Menace creatures have 6 power, so that makes it so if one of my Menacers hits them, they die. But I suppose if they don't have any other answers in hand, they kind of are forced to attack and go to 6. Alright, and they scooped them up. They just don't have enough blockers for the 2 Menace creatures. So that would be lethal. Is that 3 wins yet? That would be nice. I suppose it doesn't matter, since I'm only using gold to get this, no matter what, I'm going up in value because I'm turning gold into gems, and gems are kind of inherently more valuable. Alright, so we're at 300 gems in a pack. Not bad at all. Even if I lose this next game, We have met the exact average standard. Uh-oh, I'm playing against a Tameo. This person FNMs. Alright, another keepable hand. I've gone first literally one game. I feel like going first in this format is pretty important. Winged words. That's huge. I didn't see a single winged words all game. Hey, negate. Perfect. How about no? Watch their second card be drawn into dreams and they just baited me really hard. Nope. Okay. I can't cast anything in my hand though, because it all targets creatures. Keldon Raider's pretty sweet as well, and I don't think I saw a single Keldon Raider in draft either. This was a weird draft. We didn't see any winged words. We didn't see any Keldon Raiders. Just was not a good time overall. Anticipate. Come on. I could get a Portal of Sanctuary with no other creatures out, which might actually be fine because my other options are a 3/3 or a 3/2 that do not do anything currently. So I think we do want that Portal of Sanctuary. Now if I do draw a creature, I can Angelic Gift and do it again. So let's actually Blade Brand their creature in order to try to... Oh! Ryvoke, watch this! Ryvoke, it's your combo! Oh, this is dumb! I feel bad for my opponent. We did it! We did the thing! Oh, that's so dirty. That's so dirty. Alright, well, did it. I think all I need to have this game in the bag now is just a negate. Neither of these are negates, so we'll just put them on bottom. Wave Crasher's funny. Now I can befuddle, try to draw a negate. Nope, did draw Season of Growth though, so now my future draws are just incredible. Soul Salvage, I don't have any creatures in grave, so we are passing. So yeah, literally the only thing I could possibly be worried about is non-creature spells here. If they have some way to deal with Meteor Golem. Any creature they play, I just Meteor Golem it, so I'm fine. I'm super safe from creatures. I don't have anything that gives haste in my deck, so I think we just attack pre-portal, and then we portal. Okay. Befuddle our own Octoprophet to draw 2. And there's the scoop. They just don't want to deal with it. They've had enough of Omniscience Draft. Fair enough. This format is not for the faint of heart. Like me. I'm honestly probably going to do literally just this one Omniscience Draft and then not anymore. Partially because, you know, when you lose, you really lose and it feels super bad, but also partially because I did spend 5,000 gold on this, and I do not have an extra 5,000 gold, so I would be spending gems if I did it again. So I have that excuse. I have that excuse of like, well, I gotta save all my gems for Premier drafts to grind into Mythic. I'm only at Platinum right now. Okay, so 4 wins, 450 gems, and 1 pack guaranteed. It's going pretty well. I'm pretty sure we were 2-2 at the start of this, so we were 1 loss from being out of the event. 2 games in a row, and we got wins instead, so we'll see if we can keep that train going. Get as many gems as possible out of this. I have my Nicol Bolas figure that I got for my birthday insanely late from my my stepmom. He is here to give me best of luck in Omniscience Drafts. I don't have a webcam of any kind. I was going to get a webcam. I swear to you, I was going to get a webcam for for my super month of streaming, but obviously things are insane right now, so on several... I'm going to try to just mind rot them, because I can't really bait a counterspell out. Anyways, on several different like retailers' websites, I did the little email alert for whenever they finally get a frickin' webcam in stock, so that is on my list of things to do for trying to stream. But If I had that already, I would show you my Nicol Bolas figure, because it's pretty cool. And he is, he's giving me the luck and the skill. It's not one of the crazy expensive, like, really cool ones. Hey, look what we just drew. Look how dumb our deck is. We got a Yarok's Wave Crasher. We don't even need a portal. We'll just Yarok's Wave Crasher our Meteor Golem and be a really rude person. We'll just do it off the ETB trigger. Anyways, I think it's just the Nicol Bolas, the standard Nicol Bolas Funko Pop. I don't know if they have any crazier ones. I know I've seen people sell like $1,000 million Nicol Bolas statues that are like super accurate and massive. Those are pretty cool, but also very expensive. Alright, our opponent is at 4. They have 1 draw step to survive. And it's Anticipate! So if any of their cards in their top 3 can save them, they will be saved. And it's Angelic Gift. Draw another card. Soul Salvage. Cloudkin Seer. Draws another card. Now they have 2 flying blockers. It's pretty huge. And a Vorse Claw on the ground. Pattern Matcher. I think I can grab another Wave Crasher and Meteor Golem their Ripscale Predator now. I'm pretty sure I can grab another Wave Crasher. I can grab another Wave Crasher. So now I can Wave Crasher on my Pattern Matcher or my Meteor Golem. So I think if I do it on Meteor Golem, I just win, right? I guess I don't just win. But it's close. I make it so the only way they can block my flyers. Wait, no, I do just win. What am I talking about? Then they only have 2 blockers. In order to block my Menace creature, they have to send both there. Yeah, I absolutely just win by recasting Meteor Golem. I don't know why I did the super wrong math there. So, with that out of the way, we're at like 5 wins now? And I almost 2-3'd? Almost 2-3'd right out of here. It's definitely going well now. Yep, 5 wins. It's 650 gems. It's pretty big. That's almost enough for just a regular quick draft. Quick drafts are like 750 gems. You 2-3'd out? I almost 2-3'd out. I was almost right there with you, Ryvoke. But I've casually gone 2-2 into 3-2 into 4-2 into 5-2. And I'm going to keep riding that chain as long as I can. But wherever it ends now, I'm incredibly happy with the results. At 3-3, I was happy. I was like, all right, we're good. We did average. At 2-3, I was just mildly disappointed. Alright, well, we're losing this one. Spectral Sailor, one of the best cards in this format. You get to draw a card once during your turn and once during your opponent's turn because of the way the emblem works. So I believe this is going to end that train. I will cast a Ripscale Predator first, so if they have Bone to Ash, they counter that instead of my Octoprophet. Look who just got read like a book, but it doesn't matter. So scry 2 and then draw a card. That's why I wanted my other card countered and not this, because now I get to scry 2 then draw a card, so if I could potentially set up into some kind of Meteor Golem replay shenanigans to get out of this, there's no reason not to put Befuddle on top, because I'll just draw another card off that again. Anyways, if I could potentially set up into a Meteor Golem combo or something, that would be my only way to potentially win. Because I need to kill Spectral Sailor immediately, so I need to draw Meteor Golem like right the frick now. You frickin' fricks. Okay, well, see if I can draw into a portal. Feral Abomination, not quite what I'm looking for. It's not the worst thing in the world. But yeah, the amount of draw they can get from Spectral Sailor very, very quickly becomes insurmountable in Omniscience. Just because when you can consistently draw basically 2 cards per your turn, you can really, really consistently just draw into more draw and chain things like crazy while also establishing a large board state to bash into your opponent. So I definitely needed Meteor Golem or something to kill Spectral Sailor as soon as possible. Well, that looks pretty awkward that I didn't soul salvage my Predator immediately. I was planning on just doing that later because I expected they would probably I could probably just like block with Octoprophet or something, then I can soul salvage back Octoprophet and Ripscale Predator. But of course it blew up in my face as much as it possibly could. They exiled my Ripscale Predator from my grave so I couldn't soul salvage it, and then they exiled my soul salvage from hand as well. Thought Distortion is another card that can potentially be really brutal in Omniscience Draft. If your opponent has a hand that's like Negate, Bone to Ash, Drawn to Dreams, and you just play this on them first turn, that's an immediate scoop. That is the biggest feel bad in the world, because it can't even be countered if you have the Negate ready. Pacify my Octoprophet. I don't know how I feel about that pick. Oh, I guess they are just trying to bash in with flyers. But I think if you've played this format enough, you would know that for sure I've got portals in my deck to try to be bouncing these Angelics. Or at least that I'm likely to. Omniscience Draft not helping with your play 25 lands daily quest. That's very true. That is very true indeed. I think I'm just dead this turn. Just didn't find a way to deal with Sailor. They drew a shitload of cards off of it. And loaded them out on the board. Ripscale Predator. Feral Abomination. Anvilrot Raptor. This deck has a lot of just weird... Well, not a lot. This deck has 2 weird, mediocre creatures in it. I guess all decks have at least like 2 weird, mediocre creatures in them in this format, since you can only cut like 3 cards. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7... 4, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yep, that's quite lethal. Anvilrot Anvilrot Raptors. Great for 0 with any buff. I mean, I guess, but this isn't really the format where you want to run a ton of buffs unless you've already got like Season of Growth going for you. I feel like Raptor's usually just like a really late pick that just always ends up in these decks, you know? Well, that is going to end the run. 5 wins, 3 losses, 650 gems, and a pack. Not as bad as I thought it was going to go at the start. And certainly not bad at all. Well, that does it for my Omniscience Draft. Thank you all so much for watching. If you want to check me out live, I'm always live on twitch.tv pretty frequently this month. For the Limited Ladder Climb, my next streams are next Tuesday and Saturday, I think. Maybe, no, it's next Tuesday and Friday. Those are my days off, so those are my Ladder Climb streams. But until then, thank you all YouTube crew for watching the Omniscience Draft, and I will see you again very soon for some more Magic Arena content.